we're going to do some movements with our heel lifts. So we're going to do them in krama in 4 parts. If you want to put your hand on a piece of furniture, you're welcome to do that. So the first time, we're just going to either put our weight forward into our toes so the heels feel lighter on the mat, or actually lift them, but only a quarter of the way up. So we'll inhale and lift a quarter, and then exhale, let them come back down. And now we're going to inhale to a half lift. Exhale, come back down. This time it's 3/4. And exhale down. And now we'll lift the heels all the way up, or imagine you're lifting them all the way up if your balance is sketchy today. And then exhale all the way back down. So let's do that again with just the heel lifts, no arms. And pay attention to the shape of the feet as your heels lift, and also to the toes, what's happening with the toes. We'll inhale 1/4, and then half, and then 3/4, and then all the way up. And let's stay here for 2 breaths. And you'll feel like probably there's a little bit of wobbliness that happens, but it's okay. The feet keep us up there. And then when you exhale, come all the way down. And we'll do that again, but this time we're going to add in the arms. So the arms are doing the same movement that the heels are doing, they just have further to go. So inhale, heels and arms 1/4 of the way. Exhale down. This time it's halfway. And it's all kind of a guess. And exhale down. Nobody's going to measure it for us. 3/4 of the way. And down. And this time all the way. And we'll stay here for 3 breaths. Breathing in from the toes all the way up to the top of the head, and exhaling down. And on your next exhale, your heels and arms can float back down with control. And then notice once again how your feet are contacting the earth. And then we could do a little shake out of one leg. Let your toes be loose. And then shake out the other leg. And we'll come back to our mountain pose. And this time we're going to come into a forward fold. So if you want to use a chair or a stool, just bring that to your mat a little bit in front of you. So let's inhale, arms can come up towards the sky, heels are staying down. And as you exhale, draw the belly in as you come into your forward fold. And then with fingers on the floor or on some kind of a prop, let's come into a square shape. So we're lengthening the spine and lengthening the legs. And then on the exhale, I'm going to soften those knees. Let your belly come down closer to, maybe even touching the thighs. So it's almost like a crouch. And then on the inhale, we'll lengthen those legs, arms, and spine again. Exhale, crouch down. Maybe the palms come to the earth or your blocks. And on the inhale, might be just the fingertips that are touching that support. Let's do 2 more, and you can have a little tuck of your chin towards your chest.
We're not moving too quickly here. Back to our square shape. And then to stand back up, we're going to keep this nice long spine. Bend your knees. You can have your arms come out like cactus or wings. Press the floor away to stand back up. And then you might feel a little lightheaded. And if that's the case, just alternately lift the heels, pumping the blood back up towards the heart. And then come back to your mountain again and just notice, how do I feel now? How does my body feel? How does my breath feel? How do my feet feel? And from here, we're going to step back, straight back with one foot. I'm going to step back with my right foot. So both feet are planted on the earth. And let's bring a bend into that front knee. And we're going to play with the heel lift on this front foot. The other one stays flat down. So it's the same krama that we did earlier. So it's inhale, the heel lifts 1/4 of the way. Exhale to float it down. Then we inhale halfway, float it down. This time it's 3/4. And then down. And finally, all the way, heel lifts all the way up. And then float it down again. And we can do the same thing, adding the arms in just like we did earlier. So inhaling 1/4, heel and arms. Exhale down. I'm using great control here. Go to halfway. And then 3/4. And then all the way. Exhale all the way down. Let's do that again. And this time we can bring in that idea of breathing in from the feet. So we're gaining even more support from the earth to keep us balanced. Inhaling 1/4 of the way. Halfway. 3/4. And then this last one, we come all the way up, and let's stay here for 2 or 3 breaths. If you would like to lift your chin and eyes, that's going to increase challenge to the balance, and press into the back foot. So we get a little more length, that side body. And then when you're ready, exhaling, heel and arms float down to the earth. We're going to lengthen that front leg. Keep the legs in this triangle shape as we come into a forward fold. So you can bring your hands to that front thigh. On your next exhale, draw the belly gently in, slide the hands down towards the earth. We'll stay here. Maybe your hands come to the ground or stay on the body or blocks. Let your neck release so you've got a little tuck of your chin towards your chest. Of course, if it's not right for you today to come into this version of the forward fold, you can come into the half version. So your torso's level to the floor. Well, let's think about connecting to the earth, drawing in that sense of coolness, calmness, steadiness.
healing energy. And then on your next inhale, let your spine get long, come level to the floor, and we'll press into that front foot. You can have your hands slide along the leg or come wide as we come back to standing up again. And then we'll step forward back to our mountain. Again, if you're feeling lightheaded, pump your heels. And then when you're ready, pause. Is one foot heavier than the other? And how are you feeling energetically? Is there a calmness that's come into your being? Now let's step back with the left foot or the other foot. Same thing. We're going to start with just the heel lifting in Krama. There's a bend in that front knee. You can do it at your own pace. You're quite familiar with what you're doing now. You might notice sensations in the calf and even the thigh. And then once you lower back down, bring that bend back into the knee, and we'll add in the arms, working with the healing Krama. The heel is always being drawn back down to the earth on the exhale. And when you come all the way down, we'll do that series again. And this time, when you come to heel lifting all the way and arms too, we'll stay there for a few breaths. Maybe lifting the chin and the eyes, pressing into that other foot, the back foot. And then when you're ready, everything floats back down to the earth. We let that front leg get long and the hands come to the thigh as we inhale to wave our spine long. Exhale, hinge at the hips into your version of the fold. You can always use a chair here too. Have your hands come to the chair and your torso level to the floor. Let your neck and shoulders relax. And it's okay to have some softness in that front knee too. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight and not locked. And then when you're ready, spine gets long, level to the floor. Decide on your arm shape, maybe cactus this time to try. Inhale, press into the foot. Lift yourself up, arms come down. We step back to mountain. Maybe pump the heels. And then we'll come back to stillness again. Let's take a sighing exhale here. How do your feet feel? What's your posture like? And just do another little comparison to the beginning of class, where your weight was,
where you felt heavy or light. And is it all exactly the same, or has something shifted a little bit?